Welcome to the final installment of the Collection Builder workshops. In this part, I'm going to show you how to finish up your collection by editing your About page and moving things around on your home page. So here I am in the root of my repository again. To get to my About page, I'm going to click on the Pages directory right here. And then I'm going to find the file that says about.md. And this file extension MD just stands for Markdown. And Markdown is a simple way to write web content that can easily be transformed into HTML. And if you want to know more about Markdown, I encourage you to go over to our documentation, click on the Finish section and the About page section. And we have a lot of resources and links out to tutorials on Markdown if you're curious about learning more beyond the brief introduction I'm going to be using it for today. So I'm in my About page here, and this is our Markdown file, and this is the back end of what you're seeing when you look at the About page over here. So the very first thing that I'm going to edit is this contents navigation bar right here. And I can tell that that's at the top of my About page. It's this little include that says nav menu HTML. So I know that this is controlling the sections in the About page and which ones I can drop down to. So before I edit the sections up here, I need to create some sections in my page beyond what's there already in the example. So I'm going to do that by creating a Markdown heading. And this, I'll just say this is the first Psychiana section. And I'll make it one more that's the second. And to get those to show up in the nav bar, I'm just going to grab this and paste it in, and then also grab the second one and paste it in after this semicolon right here. And then these will show up in the navigation menu just like these ones are doing right now, and they would allow me to jump down to each section really easily from the top of the page. So now that I have those set up, I'm going to start filling out my sections. So I might write a little paragraph here. As you can see, there's all sorts of things you can do with Markdown, such as insert hyperlinks and create bullet lists. So definitely check out the example if you'd like to learn a little about how to do that. It's pretty intuitive. In this case, here, maybe I want to insert an image, and maybe I want to actually grab an image from my collection and use it here and then kind of talk about it to expand on it and provide some context for my collection. So in order to do that, I'm going to scroll down, and down here we have instructions on how you can insert any sort of object from the collection. So if you have an image, you'd follow these instructions: PDF, video, and so on. So I'm interested in doing an image. So I'm going to copy this code right here. That's this little include, and I'm going to paste it right here under the content that I've written for my first section of the About page. And then inside this little include, I can see I need to fill in the object ID of the image that I want to include on the About page. So to do that, I'm going to come over and look at my pictures again. And I'd just like to choose this one, I think, and grab the object ID from the URL and come back over and then paste it in to the value for object ID. You can also adjust the width here. So your choices are 25, 50, 75, and if you take out the width altogether, it will automatically default to 100. So I'm just going to do 50. And it'll make it a little bit bigger than the example was. And so I will commit this in a second so we can look at it. But in the meantime, I'm going to add some content to my second section. So to do that, I'm going to scroll down and see what other options I have. It looks like I can include a card, buttons, alerts or modals. And to give you an idea of what those all look like, you can check out the example page over here. Here's an example of the card. Here's the buttons. Here's a button, an alert, and a modal, which lets you pop up with a little message. In this case, I'm just interested in making a card. So I'll come back over here. I'll scroll down to where the code for the card is, and I will grab it. Come back up to my second section and just paste it underneath that heading there. And I'll just adjust the header for the card here, which is this little part right here. And it looks like there's a double header here. So I'm just going to take out this redundant header. And then I'm going to edit the text of the card. So that this is going to be the part of the card that you see down here, this little text content. If I'd like to, I could insert an image on top of the card. However, in this case, I'm not interested in that. So in order to get rid of that, I just delete this little object ID part. And I can make the width a little bit bigger. So perhaps I will do 75 this time. And actually, I might change that to 50 just to keep it a little bit smaller. And I can choose for it to be centered or not. In this case, I think centered looks pretty good. So I'm going to keep it there. And I'm just going to go ahead and delete the rest of this example content so that we can go and look at our new about page with the new content that I've written. So I'm going to make my commit. And then while that's taking a second to load, I'm going to go back to the base of the repository here and come over here and check it out again, see if it's ready. Not quite. So while we're waiting for that, I'm going to jump over to the home page and show you how we can edit that. So say you have a collection that you don't want all of these features to be present on the home page. So perhaps you don't want the locations boxes to be there because maybe you don't have locations for your collection. So there's no reason for the featured locations to be on the front page. You can easily do that by finding the layout for the home page, and that can be found in the _ layouts folder. So go ahead and click on that one. And then inside that folder, find the file that says home infographic, and it's an HTML file. And then click the pencil button so we can edit it. And so here you'll see a bunch of includes, just like we saw on the about page. And you can move these around, delete them, add them, do whatever you want with them. But this is how you can access the ability to edit that home page. So if I want to get rid of my location box, I can do that by finding the include that has the locations fields in it. And I'm just going to grab it all here and then delete it. So it'll disappear the next time that we look at our site once we've committed this. And the other thing I can do is move things around. So maybe I want the data downloads to be the first thing that somebody sees because maybe that's the most important thing in the collection. So I'm going to grab this section, I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it above the very first section. So now it'll appear at the top of the page. And so to play with this, we're using Bootstrap's grid. And if you want more information on how to move things around and to kind of understand how this is laid out here, feel free to go to our documentation under finish, look at home page, and also take a look at Bootstrap's documentation too, so you can learn about their grid system and their columns, and that will help you kind of understand what's going on here. But I think that's enough for now. I'm gonna update home page here, make a commit. And while that is updating, I'm going to go back over here and check out my about page. And I'm going to refresh it. And you can see my updates have been made. So I have my content up here, in the navigation menu. I have the text content that I wrote in Markdown. I have an image that I included, and I have the second section down here with a card that I created. So there's a lot more you can do with the About page following those examples, but this is just enough to hopefully get you started in understanding how it works. And now if I go back to the home page, let's see if my changes have been made yet. So they have. I can see my data downloads are up at the top now, which is what I wanted, and my locations card is removed. So all of those changes are reflected here. And now you should have a polished site. Your site should be finished, and hopefully you feel pretty good about it. We're really happy that you chose to watch our workshop, and hope that if you do have any questions or want to learn more, feel free to reach out to us. We're always happy to communicate and see how Collection Builder is being used, and we're really excited to be able to share it with you.